Hello, welcome to the video. So, this should be kind of a short one, but if it turns long, well, it is what it is. So this is a couple of things. So one of them is essentially it's going to be a tutorial on more or less how to play with the Bamboo app using the for the Bamboo 3D printers. I have three at the moment, and I've been experimenting with them for the past couple of months, kind of really testing them out and seeing, hey, like, what can they do, right? Because when you think of 3D printing, at least in my head, a lot of the time, what would come out would be neat little gadgets, right? Like, because I used to work at a dental company, right? And when they would 3D print stuff, it was resin printed, and because it was resin printed, maybe the technology came much further, or maybe it's just because what I'm using right now is filament, and the quality of it wasn't the best, right? We would use it for to duplicate patients' mouths, um, to give like a 3D file a physical fixture to work on, right? Because if you're just guessing on the computer, or if you're just designing on the computer, after it gets milled out, it's not exactly the same thing, right? So you want to use the physical 3D to um, check your contacts, make sure that your parameters are right. And um, after I start working there, I really just decided to start this, right? Rodiano Industries, and I'm still kind of working on the logo more than anything, but I've been printing a lot. I've been kind of like working on things. This is actually one of the masks I designed for my son-in-law. Not son-in-law, my my godson. See, it's got Victor and then RI3D. And this is kind of like what I can offer, right? Where it's a mask, and this is actually a kitsune mask. It's a I think like it's Japanese, but most people would know it from like Naruto, right? So that's kind of where you think that's really cool. One of the things I found out with this particular file, um, I needed it to make it smaller, right? So you see how big that is? The reason it has different filaments or different colors is because when I initially started it, I forgot I had the filament for the rainbow on there. So it's a rainbow filament, and it's just there. It was just there. I had been working on a couple of toys for the neighborhood kids, and because again, like the way that I function is, I won't understand everything right away. If anything, I kind of dislike forcing myself to learn. But once I get interested, once I start experimenting, like I get my bearings, like I can pick up things really quickly, and that's where that kind of came from, like the rainbow 3D printed filament. It's got various colors, and the best part is it glows in the dark. Like I'm not quite sure how to show you guys that right now, because that means I would have to turn off all the lights, and it's a bit of a pain in the ass right now. But yeah, like right now I'm printing this out for my godson. I'm gonna go to Mexico next week, so I want to finish it before I head off, right? And currently it should be printing, and I got three printers. They're named Faith, Hope, and Patience, right? I think it's Patience, the one that's working right now on the mask. Yeah, and I actually even made a sale in terms of like creating a mask for a customer, and going ahead and printing it, and like actually making it so that the customer wants to pay me the money that I'm asking. Like because right now, like this one for example, right? This mask, I customized it for his daughter because that's who he wanted it for, and damn it, why is the mouse acting so weird? I'm gonna have to switch mouses soon because my current mouse isn't working out too well. But yeah, like I had him come over with me. He was standing right behind me, and while he was here, I went ahead and I just asked him for his opinion. What would he like? Like, he told me, oh, I want the roses on the crown to be gold. I want my daughter's name there, and not gold. He wanted them to be green, and the mask actually took about 3 days to create. 3.5 days, I'd say, at the very least. But when I presented it to him, he was very happy. Yeah. So I got to share my capabilities, at least in terms of providing or selling a mask that I made with my 3D printers. And I'd like to think that the guy was pretty satisfied with the product that I gave him. So, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be making videos around this, and if anything, I'll make this a dedicated video towards some basics. But yeah, what this originally looked like when I go to look at the files, if I pull them up, it looks nothing like that. I work with a company right now. It's called STL Fix, and I have a subscription with them. So what that allows me to do is to actually go ahead and I get the STL files, right? The designed files. I can download them and then I can print them and then I can sell them. A lot of the time when you 3D print something, especially if you're selling it legally, right? Because like if you ever do under the table deals, like hey, I printed this out. I know you wanted some like Pokemon something, whatever, right? Like when you do something like that, it doesn't necessarily work out too much, especially as you scale up. But is it Calamari mask small? Maybe. But yeah, okay, yeah. So see, this is kind of what I'm talking about, right? Well, this is how the mask originally came to me from the STL file, and I'll teach you guys like how to download, how to open the STL file, how to extract files, even like things I've made mistakes on, right? Like one of the reasons why the mask that I made for this customer took so long is because I just used fill in, right? Like I just used this tool fill, and I was like, oh okay, like everything should be fine. But it wasn't. One of the things I kind of encountered was literally just how much filament I'd be wasting. Whenever you do something like this, like if you look at the wire itself right there in the back, you have these extra pieces of material right there. This line that cuts across in red and green. What that's gonna do is the computer will mimic that exactly. So it will um, print out little by little, piece by piece, that particular design with that color scheme if you put in the right filament. The main problem being is because of the pathing for the filament and because of the way that Bamboo Lab works when it comes to using multiple colors, because I have an AMS, and AMS is automatic um, filament. No, automatic something like that. It basically just lets me switch between different colors and different materials relatively easily. But yeah, like this for example, 3 days, 1 hour, and 7 minutes. As long as I'm constantly checking it, making sure that the filament doesn't pile up in the back, that the what do you call that? The actual it's not the filament, it's the extruder, right? So when you switch between filaments, so you have the filament for, let's say, red, right? And then like I need to do green next, right? Like I'm the computer and need to do green next. I have to purge all of the red filament, as in dump it all out, switch to the green filament, do whatever I need to do with the green filament, pour all of that green filament, whatever's extra, out, and then switch back to the red filament. So because of that particular system of switching to colors and making it so that the actual mask comes out the way that you want it to, or your 3D print to come out to, like what that causes is a lot of wasted materials, right? But what I discovered, and this is something I was thinking of later, right? After the customer had left and I had already agreed to do this version of it, I realized, well, if my base color is white, right, and I go over here and let's say I only want the green, right? Like I only want green. I could just go here, like Alrighty, there, one, two, and something like this is a lot slower than, like, let's say what do you call that? Hmm, that's interesting. I haven't messed with that like that yet. Smart fill angle 9. Okay. See, things like that, well, that does look cool. We'd be wasting a lot of filament. But yeah, like, it kind of just has to do with the idea of learning what you can do to kind of, like, at least save money for yourself for material. Because it's not like I'm like, hey, like, let me maximize the profits on this, right? Let me really just take whatever money I can get from whoever I sell this to. No, it's also like, okay, well, if I take the time to paint it out and then I take the time to print it out and it comes out just the way I wanted it to, that's a benefit for me, and that's a benefit for the person who's I'm working with. You know, like, if they know that for a fact I'm going through and I'm making sure that their product looks good, then that makes it more comfortable to return to me. You know, like, I actually do need to start, not start, but like actually market my services, because one second, I got a text. Who the hell's texting me at this hour? There's literally nobody who should be texting me right now. Maybe my mom? Alrighty, let's see. Let's pause that. Ah, that was a game notification. That's funny. Alright, well, either way, as I was saying, what we're kind of looking at is this, you know, where I'm filling it in, I'm coloring it, and because the actual color is baked into the filament, like, let's say if I scratch the mask, I drop it, whatever, as long as the filament is, or the color is deep enough, right? What's gonna end up happening is that it won't be that noticeable. It's gonna be a little bit more durable in that regard, because when you scratch something, like, let's say it's like a single color, and you scratch it, and like, you had already covered it with paint, what would end up happening is that, like, you would just have that obvious scratch of missing paint where the material came off, and you have whatever color was underneath the actual color. And even though you can repaint it, it's one of those things where if you already have the color literally baked into the actual design, and it saves you time, because bear in mind, I have to, if I were to paint it, I would be charging more, right? So I'm charging more right now because I'm wasting more material as I do this. This isn't a cheap process to do. Using the filament, switching them out, that's gonna cost you some what is that called? Some there's a word for it. Or there was a way of saying it, like, you can get it fast and cheap, but not good quality. You can get it fast and good quality, but not cheap. And you can get it, what do you call it? Cheap and high quality, but not fast. So it's at the very least for me, it's kind of like trying to figure that out and trying to strike that happy balance, so I can make money. You know, like, I need to pay my bills. I need to like, build something for myself. You know, like, that's kind of like the whole purpose of the company. Where, like, let's say I pass away soon, you know, my family would be able to live off of this. Like, I just literally need to teach them, hey, come here, do a couple of clicks, load up some filament. These are the services that can give you the files. Go wild, go make money. You know, and I can go off and be at peace. You know, without really being too worried about it. But yeah, that's kind of like the function of this particular thing right here. It's color painting. It's, you're using the filament to determine how much color you're using. Another thing I would recommend, if you can, use the optimal. So it's 1.6 millimeters optimal. And what that means is that the layer amount or the layer height of the lines that the filament pours, right? Those layer lines are going to be 1.6, and that's actually going to cost you more time. But the beauty of it is that even if it does cost you more time, um, you're good because if you try to rush and you're halfway through, you're gonna have to restart if it fails. But if you go through it slower and you let the machine kind of take its time, and you're constantly checking on it, it's a lot easier to produce something that you're satisfied with, rather than kind of getting frustrated because it doesn't look a certain kind of way, or like it's various little things. And I actually, so this is another thing I really do need to what do you call that? Um, Work on, and that would actually be even finding more stuff, because like you can add stuff. Like I can add a cube here. Okay, I don't know. Okay, well either way, like see the cube is right there. Cube, no cube, and you can do a lot of things. It's just a matter of figuring out the controls, and that's what I'm aiming to do. If you guys want to buy something, right? Like if you want me to design something for you, we can always hop onto like a Zoom call, and then I would go around kind of showing you like my wares, right? Like what can I offer you? What is it exactly that I can offer to you with my 3D prints, right? So like I said, this is one of those. This is the current company that I'm working with, the subscription service for the STL files. Um, Right here, see, Hello Luis Rodriguez, commercial license, monthly V3 get. So my store, I actually need to work on that. I need to put it up and be like, hey, like, do you want to buy this, or like, just so I can provide you links with for so that you guys can actually actually select things you want. Because I think that this little Skella dragon is cool. You know, I put that up, and then I can show you this, and I think it looks badass. But if you don't particularly like it, then there's no real reason for me to print it and then try to force you to sell it to you. And yeah, like most things they'll be like $10 to $20, especially if the print itself doesn't take longer than maybe 5 hours, and or even if the print doesn't take anything more than a couple of 100 grams of filament, it'll be relatively cheap. It's that when it's taking literal days for me to print it out for you, that's usually when we're looking at like $60 at the bare minimum. If we're looking at 12 hours, if we're looking at 3 days, 150 is pretty. At least it's reasonable to me, and that's something I can negotiate with you if you ever want to come and actually take the time for me to design things for you. They have masks. I'm actually going to be selling these too, like swords, because I can print out swords. There's things that I really enjoy, things I really think are neat, and things that I am going to be making for myself. But I also need money to actually make them, to get the filament. And even if the material cost is pretty cheap, that doesn't mean I can just keep on funding it by myself. I have to sell stuff. I have to produce an income, and this is my method of doing so. Like spreading it to you guys, sharing this with you, and it's not just about sales. Like as well, like part of the thing that's gonna happen with the YouTube channel, it's going to actually what do you call that? It's I'm gonna be offering tutorials. Like live streaming. I'll be live streaming how to reload the filament, right? Like I can literally just take the video, the camera, pull it up, and then start pointing down there, right? So take it with me and be like, okay guys, like let's kind of look at this, and this is what you get to see, right? So we're gonna switch to the big camera, and I'm like, okay, look, so these are my 3D printers right now. The AMSs are right there, and they're currently, well, only one of them is working right now. The other two are waiting for a job to actually get started, but sorry, 1 second, and hopefully this is a little bit better. And there you go. Like you can kind of see the inside. You can see it's not really doing anything. I already loaded that up with a plate, which is what you use to like adhere the plastic to a section of the printer so that you're actually able to print and remove the to remove the actual your printed, your print off of it. It makes it easier to print. You get less errors, but it can be messy to clean up, right? Like right now, those 3 plates, I'm cleaning them using laundry detergent and water, and I have to kind of let them soak over a couple of minutes so that the actual Elmer's glue or this the Mod Podge that I'm using to help adhere to the plate is washed off properly. Because if you have impurities on the plate when you start printing, well then you're gonna start getting spaghetti defects or there's these defects where instead of sticking to the actual plate like this, like let's say this is supposed to be staying flat, and instead of sticking to the plate, what it does is because of the pressure here and because of the pressure here from cooling, it's contracting, and so what's going to happen is instead of staying stuck down, it's going to go like that. So this is over here already in the air, and that can mess you up in the actual printing process because the computer already has a preset determined path. So if that path fails, then you have to rely on the AI camera that's watching what's happening inside and being like, hey, like you have an error, maybe you should recheck or restart the program, and you're wasting a lot of time there, especially if it's like a 30 hour print. So yeah, like I had a rubber ducky that actually failed pretty badly. I can actually show that right here, and so I can kind of give you an example as to why um, you need to do the things that I'm or not need to, but I would highly suggest doing the things I'm recommending here because it'll just make your life easier overall. And then let me see. So we're going to go to device, and we're going to go to faith. No, it's hope. Hope was my first scanner. Micro SD card, and then as you can kind of see right here, like this is a ducky that had to stop midway through, or just as it was about to be finished. I was making a duck out of what do you call that? It's a duck. It was a duck that was made out of or like it was supposed to be a bat duck, like a Batman duck. Let me see if I can find it. Batman, like Batman duck. Yeah, like it was the bat duck, and I tried printing it out with blue filament, but it didn't quite work out. I can show you guys the video right now, and we can kind of watch it together. Oh, we can't get into your local storage. Okay. Huh. How about this one? There you go. So this is actually a print of some skeletons I made. They're pretty neat because they're glow in the dark. I gave them to my partner to sell, so we'll see how that works out for her. And then see, this is another. This is actually a really good example of a failure. Like you see how it started out. So we're gonna really go at it little by little. So you see how it kind of started out over here so it traced through here and it finally got through here, and then you see how it's going through here and it's catching or it's pouring out these lines, right? As it's doing that, this is what I was talking about, that crinkling, where it pulls itself up from the actual from the floor of the plate, and then because it pulls itself up from the floor of the plate, the actual like extruder, the camera, the computer, it doesn't know that it already failed. This only stopped because after such a long time, the AI camera was like, hey, like this looks really wrong. Are you sure you want to continue? And like you see like that huge pile up over here. That's why like you add glue, not super glue, Elmer's glue, like kid glue to the plate so that it's even easier to stick. I think this is a video of yeah. So this is a video of I believe it's Iron Man helmet. Yeah, Yeah, this is an Iron Man helmet if I remember correctly. You can kind of see how it goes through. This is actually one of my very first like long prints that took a really long time, and yeah, just the hype of being able to kind of like print out stuff and really seeing this like want of mine be realized for a very long time. Because I've seen YouTube videos of like cosplayers make their own costumes using 3D printed stuff, and like sometimes I just looked at that and I was like, I think I could do that if I really tried. And eventually it just got to the point where I was like, hey, I'm not working any longer. I have all this knowledge, I have all this saved money. Um, Let me start this company and let me see where it takes me, you know, where it's something that's actually mine. And yeah, I hope you guys are willing to support me. I think that's the biggest thing, you know, like even words of encouragement help. So thanks for listening. Good luck, and yeah, if you're curious about wanting to buy anything, send me an email, send me a text, uh, text. Send me a DM on YouTube. Leave a comment or something. I'll reach out to you and we'll work out the details. You know. Right now I'm giving pretty heavy discounts. Like this mask, I think. The one I was showing you guys at the very beginning for the other customer. Originally, I was gonna sell it for $60, and then he offered to do it for 100 after I explained like, hey, like when I'm actually up and running, this kind of thing, I'm selling it for 150. And yeah, he's like, oh, then let me give you 100. I'm like, are you sure? He's like, yeah, of course. And you know, I made the sale, I made the mask, and now we're here where I'm kind of continuing that. Like that little interaction gave me a lot of confidence in this too, because it's hard. Like it's hard to. I wouldn't tell you that it's hard to set up. I think it's hard to go through and actually do it. It's hard to um, take the money you've had for a very long time, like something you've earned over the course of like 10 years, and then just almost like dump it into something that you are sure is going to succeed, but like, I'm not a god. I don't know if it's going to succeed perfectly. There's already been challenges, and I'm sure there's going to be even more challenges. But yeah, I don't regret this. I don't regret the actual printers. I don't regret anything. I just wish that maybe I had done some things differently, you know, especially once I knew more about what I was getting myself into. But right now, I'm pretty hopeful with this. So yeah. All right. I rambled on for quite a bit. It was supposed to be a short one. Thanks for watching. Take care. Goodbye, and be safe.